Hey everybody, it's Liberal Gun Toter here, talking about the Lee Loadmaster a little bit more, and some fit and finish issues, some things that you could get worked out in here and get this press working properly. Right now, as you can see, I'm loading 300 Blackout 220 grain projectiles over 8.3 grains of little gun, and so far, no problems. I've been loading 300 Blackout for quite some time now. I have a couple 300 Blackout rifles. I'll put those in a later video for you guys to see. But I'm reloading some subsonic ammo. I'm using some CCI 400 small rifle primers. I trimmed my 223 cases down. I think I have some 300 Blackout cases in there too, but most of these are going to be my own 223 trimmed down brass. And again, loading them to 8.3 grains of little gun. They work flawlessly subsonically in my 300 Blackout rifle that I built for subsonic rounds. I also run a suppressor on there. I'm running a Spec War 762. So good times in that front. I've loaded up a bunch already. You can see over here. No issues. It's all good rounds. They're all to about 2.220 in length. Just to give you a brief overview of my setup here for you guys that are interested. I generally get the best dies for the job. So I may end up buying 2 sets of dies just to get my desired results out of the dies. But the dies that I run is I run a RCBS small base die, 300 Blackout right here. Good die. Oh, just a little loose there. My decapping pin was a little loose, but it hasn't affected the performance of it. I'll tighten that down a little bit here. I also run it's a Lee neck expander die, just to open up the mouth of the case a little bit more. Of course, it's just a Lee powder die, powder charge die. They don't expand on the rifle die, so it's not really a powder through expansion die. They only expand on the pistol dies. Also, I'm running a RCBS bullet seeder die. I'm thinking I'm going to change this to a Hornady. I really don't care for having to unscrew and rescrew. I prefer just a simple dial to dial in my loads. It's just a preference thing there. Also, I like the sleeve that they have in there. It kind of guides the bullet into the right position before it actually seats it. And here we have a Lee factory crimp die, which is also a pretty good die. Haven't had any problems with that. A lot of guys use this die. Overall, I really don't have any problems. A couple things you guys might notice that are different on my press is I upgraded the chain. I went to a larger gauge chain, or would it be smaller gauge chain, or whatever. Upgraded the chain. I also upgraded the spring, and I also upgraded the bail. The bail's actually sitting in there. I just went to my local True Value here, bought all of those parts. It may have cost me all of $3 or $4 to do it. But it has tremendously improved the powder system. I have not broken one of those chains. I kept the chain extra long just in case I did break it, but I have not broken one of these chains. Also, I have a lighting system, which you can see. I have it off for the video, though, because it just interferes with the video. Lighting is going to be done with my camera and with an overhead light that I have set up here. Other modifications that I've made to my press is just general smoothing out of things. When you get the press, the Loadmaster, it's a good press. A lot of guys don't like it because you have to tinker with it a little bit. But once you get everything smoothed out, this thing tends to work like a finely tuned car. It's fantastic. I rarely have a problem. I rarely have tip primers. I rarely have primer seating issues that some guys have complained about. I do get them occasionally, but I rarely have them. I rarely have anything stuck cases or feed issues. But the Lee presses are really about setting up everything to get everything working smoothly. One of the big things that you can do for this press, besides upgrading this chain, and that goes with the Pro 1000 too. I used to own a Pro 1000 before I went over to the Lee Loadmaster, and my Pro 1000 worked great. But a lot of the guys were complaining about the, again, the chain system. But, you know, like I said, the real fix to this, and I've tried several things to fix this chain system. See if I can find my other setup. My other setup was similar to this. It was a spring through there, and then just using a smaller gauge chain that came with the press, or very similar to the one that came with the press. This isn't the one that came with it. What would happen with this though is, as the spring gained more tension, this wouldn't fully return the handle that pulls the micrometer adjustment, the powder portion here back. It would kind of be a bumpy ride. It wouldn't be a smooth slide back. So that's why I just started to go with the bigger chain. Just drilled out a little slightly bigger hole, stuck the chain in there. It works flawlessly, no problems with that. Also in here, a lot of guys might notice that my powder hopper here is actually pretty dark, and that is because if you look through the top here, you'll see that I have graphite coated the interior. This to me is one of the most important things you can do to this powder system, is you want to graphite coat everything in this powder system. Graphite coat the hopper, all the inners, and just open it up and spray the graphite powder in there. You just want to open it up, open to the open position with no powder in it. Of course, take it off of here and spray the entire inside with graphite powder. Just a couple quick bursts should do it. Coat the entire inside. Also graphite it inside the actual dies themselves. Just this die, just graphite, just blew some graphite through there. And it has greatly increased my powder consistency. Not that powder consistency was an issue to begin with, but it improved it. I don't have the powder trickling out necessarily as I'm cycling the system. So after I charge it, I go back to its neutral position by pushing the handle forward. I don't have powder hitting my shell plate as this is returning to its neutral position. It seems to have eliminated that problem. There's also another way that I'll talk about in the other video, about the way you set this die up. I know Lee just says take it into the shell plate, then like back it off maybe a quarter of a turn or something like that. For me, that didn't work out the best. What I do is it takes longer. It definitely takes longer to do this, but I have set mine up here, and I'll charge this just so you can see. Give me a second, guys. I'll put down the camera here. Make sure there's powder in there, then I'm going to charge. Okay. Now that I charged it, it's dumping powder. You can see that back here that I have set mine up so that the adjustable charge bar right here, the adjustable charge, whatever this is called, right here, does not go past the hole. It's going to be hard for me to get in here. Let me see if I can get in here for you though and show you real good what I'm talking about. I have it so that yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to show you, but it's set up so that the back portion of the inner part right here, see if I go all the way up to the top, would you be able to see it? Maybe. Just touches the back of that hole. Find that works best. Reason being is if that charge bar goes all the way back, what you end up doing is creating a shelf for powder to sit on. Once that powder sits on the shelf and you return your handle to the neutral position, such as this, powder starts falling out as the shelf is eliminated, because the micro adjustment portion right here is coming back to its neutral position. So powder would be trickling down on my shell plate right now. So I set this die up so that when the case is in there fully extended, that it just barely drops all the powder into the case. It just edges over that hole slightly. I find that's the best way to do it. What happens is you may not be able to accomplish it on larger rifle loads. It may have to go past, and you may have that shelving issue. But with the smaller loads, 8.3, I think I load the 300 Blackout all the way up to 12 grains of some powder. With these smaller loads, you're not going to have that issue. What else can increase through? Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but on my again on my charging station here, I've polished that the surface that the adjustable charge bar rides on. Very important that you polish that, and you also polish the top of, not polish, smooth out the top of the actual adjustable charge system itself. Right here, you want to polish this out. Just take a cutting stone or a sharpening stone for a knife, whetstone, and soak it, wet it, and you want to get that as flush as possible. You also want to, when you're doing this portion, when you're polishing this, you want to actually polish it on the actual press like it is. You'd have the hopper portion off, and you just polish this top surface on here until you get a nice flush surface. You'll be able to tell because the water will eventually just coat the entire top, and you won't have spots where there's no water once it's flush. Also, you're going to want to charge the lips here without taking my press apart. I'll do it in a later video. But you're going to want to charge the lips, the metal lips. Polish the metal lips here. When you polish those, take the stone and just polish them flat until you get a nice bright surface throughout the entire portion there. That increases the reliability of the charges too, is what I found. You don't get a lot of the powder trickling out over here because you're going to create a tighter seal around your charging system. So that's why I said it increases the reliability there. The other like fit and finish things are, you want to take off the primer tray and polish the priming system. I'll show you on my large priming one, but I've see here if you can see it. I've completely polished this system too. Just take a fine stone or something and just kind of smooth all the burrs out or sprue out of here, and everything tends to work great after that. That's probably one of the biggest complaints is the charging system, but I personally don't have any issues. Another really big key, which a lot of guys overlook with this charging system, is you need to have a die in this position to center the brass. In the priming system brass, you need to have a die here. That's why I have the neck expander die, or the case expander die right here. Also, it is very important that I'm going to just show you on this side, but this little lip here that you have to push up against the brass, and they tell you to adjust for the brass, that has to be firmly up against the brass. That particular screw on the other side of the press, I'll grab my little brush right here to point to it. This particular screw on the other side of the press is extremely tight on there, and I say extremely tight compared to the other ones. You don't want to over torque it, but it's tight, and that's to make sure that case stays in position. And by doing that, it eliminates the rattle that causes the bad primings. You get the canted primers, or you get the primers that are flipped, or the primers that are sideways, and you crush them in. To me, that is the biggest thing with this priming system, is making sure that you have a die there, and also making sure that that lip that pushes the brass into a solid position in the actual shell plate itself is very, very tight. Like I said, don't over tighten it, but you want a good amount of tightness on there, and it's hard to get to that screw. So your tightening, which should be just a nice hand tighten, should be fine. And just check it every once in a while. If you discover you start having a primer issue, that's probably where it's going to be, is that lip, because that brass is not staying stable while the primer is going in. I can almost guarantee you every single time that's what's going to be the issue. All right. Other than that, I'm going to do some quick loading here and show you guys. Show you guys what's going on with my system here. And let me get these rounds that I've loaded out of the way already. Those are already my known rounds, so I just load those up into the box here in a second to take to the range and shoot eventually. I just like to reload, and any free time I get, I just spend it on this press relaxing. If you guys got any questions, like I said, feel free to shoot me a message here on YouTube, Liberal Gun Toter. I don't have any subscribers, but I really don't care. If my videos help people out, that's all I give a shit about. I'm not trying to make any money on my channel or anything, but hey, if you feel inclined to subscribe, feel free. If you just use my videos one time, fix your press, never come back, hey, I've saved the world as far as I'm concerned. Thanks. So, here, like I said, I'm going to show you some reloading. Let me reposition my lights so I can make sure I see everything in here, because I like to make sure that those powder charges drop every single time. We'll just run through a few here, and maybe we'll run into an issue, but I doubt it. We shall see, though. I rarely run into issues on my press now that I've tweaked everything. I've already seated. I'm going to take the press back to the neutral position, and everything's going to exchange. Let me move over some more brass here. I was done with that section of brass. All right, let's check these powder loads. Powder's in there. Brass dropped. Powder's in there. There you go. Powder's in there. No powder from this one. It's just crimping now. You can actually hear the audible ping of my primers being taken out. As quick as I can put the projectile in there, as quick as I can reload. I like to take my time. Oh, we had an issue. There you go. That's probably the most common issue with this press is. And I could probably rectify that with a little bit of work, but that's probably the most common issue, is that brass, when it's coming down, probably need to move this floor maybe a millimeter or two to prevent that. But that brass, as it comes down, sometimes falls or tips, or in that case, gets into a position where it's kind of thrown across the press. It's not a big deal for me. I could care less. For what I paid for the press and the reliability I'm getting out of it, I'm extremely happy. And these are pretty much all now twice fired brass that I'm reloading here. In my system too, I'm sure, and most of you guys' systems too, I can hear the powder drop, so I know when the powder is dropping. This little gun here is a pretty loud powder when dropping, so it works out well for me. but I still like to do a visual check. We'll run through a few more of these and then we'll be done here. I know you guys don't want to see me pull this handle for the next 2 hours. If you're having a reliability issue, shoot me a message, comment. I'll try to respond as quick as possible, and I'll help you correct that reliability issue. I'm pretty familiar with this press now. I use other Lee presses, and before this I had the Pro 1000. I replaced this with the Pro 1000, and I couldn't be happier. I don't know why guys say stick with the Pro 1000. This is a much better, to me, a much better press for not even that much more sturdy, much more durable. It's fantastic, and it has greatly increased my reload times. So, thanks, guys. Subscribe if you want to. If not, hey, hope I helped you out.